everyone! Today we have a short and sweet task in the garden, and it is giving some treats to our plant. I'm gonna give my roses some fertilizer and my olive tree as well. And also some of my hydrangeas need some iron, and I don't know why I was in a denial, but I think they do. Let me show you what I mean. This is my Bobo hydrangea, the poor plant that got burnt in the sun while I was away for a week. And if you remember, I removed all the leaves, everything was burnt completely crispy. I removed all the leaves, I cut off all the flowers, and you can see it grew so quickly. It leafed out and it looks really nice. It has a little bit burned leaves, but I don't think this is a problem. But what I've noticed is, especially here, some signs of chlorosis. You see the light green, almost yellow leaf with dark green veining. This is what the signs of chlorosis looks like. So yes, it is definitely going to benefit from some iron. This is my other hydrangea, and I have told you the story about this one. It is a black steel variety. You see the black stems here. This one is Zorro in particular, but it is its first year, that's why it couldn't take the sun very well. And you can see many of the leaves are burned, many of the leaves I have actually removed. But the lady that I bought the hydrangeas from, she told me just give it a chance. It needs at least 1 year to establish, and next year it's not gonna be burned and bothered by the sun as much. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give it some iron as well, because usually hydrangeas tend to suffer from chlorosis, and I don't want to wait until it becomes like this, like the Bobo hydrangea. So I'm gonna treat it as well. Here in this flower bed I have 3 hydrangeas. I have one little hottie which is fighting for its life, and you can probably barely see it. This is the little lime punch, which flowered only with one full bloom and it got burned, but again it is planted this spring. It needs at least 1 year to establish better and to be able to handle the sun better. I still don't know if it is going to handle it properly, but I'll see the next year. If they don't, but I really want to give them a good chance, a good full year, to see if they can handle our really strong sun. And as I have told you, the problem here is not only that it is really hot, but also the nights are not very cool as well, so the plants actually don't have a break, and it is quite tough on them. And you can see this is another black steel hydrangea. This one is pink ball variety, but it definitely shows some signs of iron deficiency, as you can see. So this is going to be treated as well. So I'm not going to talk much about the product that I use, because it is specific for our local market, but everything that is chelated iron is going to work. The most important part is just to be really careful about the instructions on the label and to dilute the iron the way it is said. When treating chlorosis, if you want quicker results, you can also do some leaf treatment, which is spraying the diluted highlighted iron in water directly on the leaves, and it gives much quicker results. But I'm not going to do that because it is morning and we're going to have really strong sun today. It is gonna burn the leaves. So I'm gonna take the slow route and I'm just gonna apply it in the soil. So this chelated iron needs to be diluted 0.5 grams per liter, which is a really small amount, and my watering can is 8 liters, which means I need 4 grams of the chelated iron, and I really find it hard to work with such a small measuring unit. I prefer something that I put a little bit more quantity, just because it's much easier. But anyway, I'm gonna put 4 grams of the chelated iron, hi Maxi, in 8 liters of water. I think that the best time doing this is in the evening, when first of all it is cooler, and also you're not going to run into the possibility of burning the leaves when you by accident apply some of the diluted iron on the leaves of the plant. But I just have time this morning. I'm not going to be able to do it this evening, and I'm just going to do it now and hope for the best. I usually use around 4 liters per plant, which is half of my watering can per plant. And now I'm going to repeat the process for my other 3 hydrangeas. Chlorosis can be due to lack of iron in the soil, but also can appear if the soil is too basic. There is not enough acidity, and maybe this is one of the reasons that it shows more in hydrangeas, because they're used to and they just prefer more acidic soil. Let me show you my hydrangeas that I have in front of my house. I've never shown you these, but in the late spring they showed severe signs of chlorosis, and I treated them a few times with iron, and I also applied some sulfur on the soil itself. I just mixed it with the soil around the root ball because probably my soil is too basic. So what I did is I applied the sulfur, I applied chelated iron maybe 3 times, and they just look so much better now. They didn't bloom this year just because we had very late April snow, but besides that they actually look really good, and I hope next year they will bloom. But let me show you how they look now. Even though I think they still need some iron, I'm not gonna apply it today, and I will explain why. You can see here they still show some signs of chlorosis. You can see the lighter leaf with the dark green veining. This is definitely a sign that they need more iron, but I'm not gonna treat them today because they grew so big that I actually just cannot water them underneath the bush itself. So maybe I'm gonna do it later in the autumn, but I'm gonna give them a really good treatment this autumn. This is my plan, and I'm gonna apply more sulfur actually to acidify the soil more, and maybe I'll buy additional acidifier, we'll see. But yes, you can see they still look much healthier than they looked, but still show some signs of chlorosis. They didn't bloom, but they definitely grew on the foliage. Really pretty. Now I'm gonna fertilize my olive tree, and as you can see it is planted directly into the grass, which I don't advise on doing that. This was just a mistake we did this spring when we moved it from another place in the garden right here. And my plan for today was actually to remove all the grass from the buddleia up to the olive tree, to apply some compost and then fertilize. But I have some problems with my shoulders, and I was advised not to do any repeated movements such as pulling grass. So I'm not gonna do that, but I'm gonna fertilize. Even though on the packaging of the fertilizer that I use, I'll show you in a minute, it says that it should be fertilized every week. I don't do that. I just didn't want to stress it out too much. I didn't want to make it push new growth and new leaves just because we moved it this spring, and I prefer it spend its energy on the root system itself. It actually, we got some olives, which is really surprising. But anyway, I'm gonna fertilize it with the Growth Technology Olive Focus fertilizer. I'm gonna show you. This is what I use for my olive tree, and so far so good. This is the Growth Technology Olive Focus with seaweed fertilizer, and so far so good. I can't compare because I haven't used any other fertilizer so far, but this one is really easy to use. This one is diluted 10 milliliters per liter of water, and I'm gonna use the whole watering can, which is 8 liters, so I'm gonna need 80 milliliters. Using this fertilizer for my olive tree is okay because I have one, but if I had many trees and I had to fertilize them every single week, that would be quite an expensive fertilizer. Using this quantity maybe is a bit too much, but I'm considering the grass around the olive tree, and I have no idea how much of the fertilizer is going to reach the root ball of the olive. So I prefer using a little bit more. Maybe if it was planted properly in the soil, I would have used maybe half of the watering can. But in these circumstances, I prefer use a bit more. Now let's give some food to the roses as well. This is the fertilizer I use for my roses. This is the Growth Technology Rose Focus Fertilizer with seaweed. And I prefer this one just because for newly planted roses, it is not advised to use any harsh, strong fertilizer such as granulated, such as slow release. And this is what I prefer to use this summer. We'll see how it goes next year. I have the David Austin granulated slow release fertilizer, which maybe I'm gonna apply next spring. But for now, I'm gonna be focusing on this one, and I'm not giving it to them every single week, even though on the packaging it says so. I have fertilized it probably twice, and now it's their third time. And repeat. Look at this beautiful spicy perfume. This rose was planted this spring. Can you imagine? Look how much growth and how healthy it looks and how many buds. But the problem is that it really doesn't like the overhead watering that I offer it. Understandable. But we're gonna give it some little treat today. This is Earth Angel by Cordace, and we have a love-hate relationship with her because I planted her in a pot last summer. It got really bad spider mites actually, and it almost died. It almost died. And this spring I decided to move it in the garden. So I consider this year her first year, because last year in the pot was just a struggle for her. The flowers are really beautiful, but very gentle, very fragile. They can't take the heat and overhead watering altogether. So we'll see how it goes next summer, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to give them the proper conditions to grow. While we're here, let's give some support to our oleander tree. It actually had a bamboo stick stuck here, but it was a really odd height and it was cutting into the tree right below the crown every time the wind was blowing in the wrong direction. So I completely removed the stick, and then I was shopping and I just saw this stick, and it is not ideal, but it's gonna do enough for now. And let's tie it up to the tree itself. Maybe you can see, but this is where the old stick was cutting into the tree. You can see there is a big cut right here in the base of this branch and in the base of the crown actually. And since this is quite a heavy crown and very still really slim trunk, I think it definitely needs some additional support. And I brought this stick here, and as I said, it is not ideal, but it's gonna do what it's gonna do. Let me tie it up. I have this really stretchy tie, which usually I've seen garden centers use to tie up the bamboo sticks to support the trees. But I also bought this one, which looks really nice and sturdy and very easy to use, and I'm probably gonna use this one. Let's see, how much should I cut? It is a twist tie, but very soft and thick. Well, this one was too short. It works, but I definitely need longer tie. It is too long, to be honest. But when I find something better, I'm gonna change it. For now, this is gonna work. Because every time the wind is blowing, I am so scared about this tree. Oh, this one was really easy to work with. I think this is good. Before I go, let me show you how the crepe myrtle feels, the one that we planted in the beginning of August. And I was so worried because definitely August is not the best time to plant such a big plant. But this one feels really happy. We have had very decent temperatures here. I have given it plenty of water, additional supplemental water, and it is thriving. And this is the Asiatic star jasmine that we assembled the obelisk last week for. It looks so pretty and it is already blooming. I can't wait to see it grow on this obelisk right here. And that was it for today's video, short and sweet because it is getting hot. I really hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I did, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!